Okay.
came to help you.
Just let him help you.
Yeah, we're starting, so thank you. All right, guys. Hello. We're here going live. Figured it out. All right, so hello. I don't think you guys can see any slides, so if you join in to see this after the fact, go ahead and you can go see the link to the slides in the chat box. I'm going to quickly be going through. For now, it's just my face that you're stuck with and the Isaac Blue Man shirt. So yeah, click that to follow along with the slides that I'll be going through. I'm going to start going through that right now. Okay, someone's already there. Who's that? We got someone on Sahithi, wow, or whoever is VPTM now. Very good. Okay, so this is a virtual SpringCo, hurrah! And so I'm going to go through one by one here. Why is this virtual in the first place? Well, because coronavirus sucks. In a nutshell, that's why this is virtual. But all joking aside, it is a very serious situation that is going on right now, happening everywhere. And so it was the right decision on our part, we fully believe, to not have the physical conference anymore and deal with it this way. Events all across the country and world are getting canceled. South by Southwest, Coachella, the events at the United Nations. We'll see what happens with the Olympics. Sporting events, sport leagues are being suspended, etc. And so it sucks. It's just the reality, though. And so we're not the only ones trying to, overcome this issue, and not the only ones that are looking for an event. Oh, hi, Angela. And that type of thing, okay? We're not only all in this together in ISEC, but just everyone in general is in this together. Okay, so coronavirus sucks, and we just gotta deal with it and do the best we can. And so that's why we're pushing forward and still wanting to get you guys a lot of good content that we're gonna have at the conference itself. And so on to the next slide with the theme. So the theme of SpringCo is gonna be turn up the heat, because, spent a lot of time the first part of the semester really investing in the membership and in locos, making those really good, making those happen. Basically turn up the heat as we get close to summer here and make an awesome summer peak happen. And you know what? Despite coronavirus, we decided to keep this, turn up the heat still. We can still do it because we're #UnstoppableUS. This will probably become one of our new official hashtags. If you like it, please start using it. Basically showing ourselves in the world that, despite everything going on, ISEC United States will go on and will live on, despite all these challenges. So we're still using turn up the heat as well. So this slide right here actually can be deleted. And so what I'm gonna tell you about now is how does this virtual conference actually work? How can we go about doing this, and how does this work in the first place? So here's a screenshot overall of the agenda itself. So as you can see, we have a couple live spaces, a few live spaces, just for very specific and certain things. You might ask, why not more live spaces? Well, I mean, we have 12 people on this, right? And so most people will probably come on later and watch this after the fact. Oh, hey girls. Okay, got some LCPs and some venture on, that's great. So 13 people on, and most of you will definitely watch this after the fact or watch it recorded after anyways, right? So that's why there aren't many live spaces. And this one, for me, is to basically tell you how this is gonna work, what you can expect, and of course, talk about the ISEC way a little bit here. And so there'll be a couple more spaces happening at 2 p.m., happening at 3 p.m., and then the rest, all the functional spaces, as well as what we're gonna be the plenary or breakout spaces, you'll be able to access slides and recordings for via the hub online. So the link is isekushub.org/springco.edu. Give us until the end of the day, like throughout the day, more and more content is being posted, made available there, but it will all be there by the end of the day. And so here's a screenshot of what that hub page looks like. Basically, it's divided by sessions for everyone. So these are sessions that you and your entire LC, anyone in your LC can go through and experience, maybe even go through together. Specific sessions for EBs, and then functional education. So basically, education for each area that you can go through and do as a team, that your VP can go through first and maybe deliver to their teams. Same with you LCPs. In fact, some of the LCP stuff is meant for you to go through and then for you to deliver to your teams or your LCs later on. So slowly, more and more sessions are being added onto here, all right? Some tips on how to make the most of this. So take note of the suggested ways to go through each session. Some sessions have suggestions like, hey, go through this together, or go through this for yourself. Use the recording so you know, and pause the recording, and then continue it. Let's say if there's like a 5-minute discussion time or something like that, okay? The recordings for these are pretty important, I'd say. So I'd pull up the slides and go through the recording at the same time, so to best go through it, because like I said, some of this stuff we're helping you, teach you how to deliver to other people within your LCs. get together with your team, so your EB teams or your functional teams, your LC or another LC, and start going through some of this stuff. Go through the recordings and content for everyone, the stuff that's meant for everyone. And like I said, especially for LCPs and I think some other functions as well, take the time to deliver some of the content yourself to your team. So learn it, maybe adjust it, modify it, sharpen your own facilitation skills in this process. Let's try to see an opportunity for that to come through this as well, and then deliver some of that yourself to your own teams. And do the action items and post on your LC Instagram as well. So some sessions have some action items down below. Yes, please comment and subscribe. Some stuff have action items down below, and we want to still make some engagement happen through this, okay? So like posting your LC Instagrams, tag Adams United States, we'll repost everything or repost everything on the stories. We want to see you guys actively going through these sessions and completing any action items that come from them. And then on top of that, we want to do a roll call challenge, okay? So again, this is of course a classic opening event that happens at every conference, and we still want to be able to make it happen some kind of way, even though this is all virtually, okay? So we want you guys to do is have like a Google Meet or something, or a hangout with your LC, and play the song and basically record your LC dancing your roll call, send it to someone on the MC, and we'll post this stuff. And we want to still, give everyone the opportunity, especially your new members, to dance the roll call and to see the roll calls of other LCs, okay? So that's a roll call challenge. Please, I'd say, like whenever you're doing the SpringCo content together is when you can also be recording these videos, these roll call videos, okay? So let's work together, still make that classic opening event happen. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into a little bit of the concept of a game. So getting into the second half of this very short intro into the rest of SpringCo and everything else. So I want to talk a little bit about this. And now what I'm realizing is you guys can see my own notes, but that's okay. LCPs, you can use this for your people. And so there are two types of games, right? There's a finite game, and this is the game that we think of when we might think of any kind of sporting event or any typical game that we play. Finite games have fixed rules and agreed upon objective, right? A certain end time. They have winners and they have losers. And the rules of the game are known to both sides. The boundaries of the playing field well defined. There's a scoreboard that keeps clear track of who's winning, who's losing. And at the end of a certain period of time, there is a winner and there's a loser, okay? Someone wins, someone loses. It's pretty straightforward. Now, something a little bit more abstract is the concept of an infinite game, okay? So an infinite game, the players are always changing. The rules are changeable, right? The objective is not to win. The objective is to keep playing, to keep going, keep perpetuating the game. Infinite games, they have no winners, they have no losers. If rules do exist, they're often kind of fuzzy, open to interpretation, and the playing field is undefined and progress can be difficult to measure sometimes. Opponents or players are always changing. Opponents can be thought of as competitors or rivals. The players are, those in the organization, in the game itself. And there are no clear winners at the end because there's no clear end date or end time for the game, right? Competitors or players either drop out once they lose the will to keep going, or if they have lose the resources to continue playing, basically. The goal is to outlast, to continue here, not necessarily to win. So why am I talking about this? So first of all, infinite game is a concept that comes from Simon Sinek. So a lot of he's pretty much, Simon Sinek himself is like a buzzword in ISEC by this point. But Hefe Dance, okay. You know what, Adventure will record a roll call as well, if you guys start sending them in. Okay, so the infinite game by Simon Sinek, like I said, he's basically a buzzword in ISEC at this point. He also wrote Start With Why, which has generated the whole golden circle thing, which kind of generated the structure of the ISEC way. I recommend it. I'm in the process of reading it right now. And so he really dives into this concept of an infinite game. And so here's some principles, of this game, which is basically we do not get to choose whether a particular game is finite or infinite, right? It's, as a players, we don't get to choose that. The nature of the game itself decides that. What we do get to choose is whether or not we want to join the game. So hopefully as a describing an infinite game, you can start to think about what that might mean and how that can apply to ISEC here. And by us choosing to be a part of ISEC, choosing to join, we have indeed chosen to play this game. Should we choose to join the game, we can choose whether we want to play with a finite or infinite mindset. Now, this is a very interesting point that I'll continue to explain in the following slides. Now, another very important thing, so I'm not going to go through all of this. LCPs, you'll be getting a much deeper dive into this entire concept in session, but I do want to focus on having a just cause as one of the things that's very important in an infinite game. Because a just cause is basically the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. What's more motivating to you than anything. It ignites your passion, your hunger, your fire that burns and compels you what to do. It's what powers you to outlast, what propels you forward in the face of adversity and empowers you to persevere when you feel like giving up. So let's all think about right now. Again, why are we having this SpringCo virtual conference in the first place? Okay, because our organization is going through something that we've never really seen before. We've never dealt with before. And so each and every day is a challenge, right? But if we're driven by a just cause, then we're driven to keep going and fight through that adversity. And so now I want to start to talk about this in the concept of ISEC, as you might have guessed, and the fact that ISEC is an infinite game. Think about it. So it all started over 70 years ago after World War II, right, 1948, realizing that in a post-war world, nothing was more important than peace. Peace was the most important thing to work for. And who's going to work for that peace? Well, it's going to be young people, right? And in order for that peace to happen, we need to better understand people of other cultures, other backgrounds, other races, other ethnicities, etc., and put aside any kind of intolerance or box-mindedness, closed-mindedness thoughts that we've had, and be open to people from all around the world and all around the world. And so this kind of started ISEC's infinite game, right? So I'm on slide 18 now, by the way, if anyone's following along. Sorry, let me check the comments really quickly. The infinite game, yeah. My team makes fun of me because I get really excited about this this concept. Okay, here. Wait, what is? Sorry, I'm looking as a March Madness fit. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, Sean Hall. Okay, so again, it all started back in 1948, right? Now, fast forward plus 70 years later, and we're still working towards the same vision, the ISEC way, right? The fact that we still need peace in this world. And so that itself is evident that in ISEC, we are playing an infinite game and striving for peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. And this vision statement, peace and fulfillment, is indeed our just cause. It's the thing that above everything else we're working towards. It does not have a clear end date. By when are we going to achieve peace and fulfillment in the world? I don't know. We don't know. But again, the goal here is to maintain, is to outlast, is to keep going, despite challenges like coronavirus that come at us, right? Like this, totally unexpected. Now, this is a very important and crucial time for the organization because we're going to basically have to figure out how we can still continue to work for peace and fulfillment and make sure that the organization lives on, that ISEC United States lives on and fights on despite these adversities. It's just sum up a little bit of our just cause, right? Peace and fulfillment, the main thing of humankind's potential. And how are we doing that? So LCPs, you know this quite a bit. For any new members, I don't know if any new members are even on this line, but yeah, Sean, woo, shouted you out again, twice. So I'm just going to go through this just in case there are some newer members on here. But this is a part of the ISEC way as well, which is, how are we striving for peace and fulfillment? We place our confidence in young people and youth as a key to unlock this better future. Believe that leadership is a fundamental solution that can be developed in anyone. Think about any challenge, any problem in the world, leadership possibly could have handled it. Think about coronavirus. Whew, how could this be less of a problem and us be less in a less drastic situation if maybe we had some smarter leadership decisions made early on in the early days when the virus was identified, right? Leadership is the fundamental solution and it can be developed in anyone. Very important belief of ISEC. And part of the what here is we enable young people to develop the leadership through learning from practical experiences in challenging environments, right? And creating cross-cultural exchanges. And by creating those opportunities as well, we're giving our members this experience of developing leadership. And this is how we're striving for peace and fulfillment. This is how we keep going for our just cause, okay? The ISEC way is something that's always been to guide us. And it should be something that is always clear to us as well. In the process of getting there is the people, right? The players in this infinite game. And so these are the qualities of leaders that we're developing in these players, right, that are in ISEC. So the ability to empower others, right? And these and some of the values really go hand in hand, which I think is very cool. So empowering others, right? Being able to allow others to have a chance to exercise their leadership, discover their potential, and lead a team. Not necessarily saying, hey, you do this, you do that, showing them, telling them exactly what to do, exactly how to do things, but rather empower them to go out beyond their comfort zone, think about things for themselves. In the same vein, being solution-oriented, right? Agile, adaptable in the face of adversity. Like right now, we are all having to be solution-oriented. Not just us, the regional office, ISEC International, everyone. And self-aware, right? Meaning that I'm aware of what my strengths and weaknesses are as a person and how I can apply those for the greater good, and what maybe I'm not so good at that others can help balance out, right? Like who can really help me amplify my strengths and mitigate my weaknesses. This is all part of self-awareness. And then of course, being world citizens, right? Citizens of the world, not necessarily of any one clearly defined country or territory, but recognizing that the world is made up of all types of people, and we ourselves are open and tolerant of any type of nationality, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, whatever it may be, right? Citizens of the world. So these are the type of players that we're developing throughout this infinite game of striving for peace and fulfillment. Then, of course, the values, right? So for those of you who don't know, ISAC has then 6 values that we've always had as well, that we always kind of place at the forefront of the type of people we're looking to create and the type of basically the behaviors and values we want to live by in ISAC. And us in this term specifically focusing on 3 being striving for excellence. So always, bringing our best every single day, always coming with a very, yeah, exactly. I'm loving this chat, by the way. Always bringing our best no matter what the problems of the day might be, especially this past week, right? Activating leadership, again. So this goes into making sure that we are creating the next generation of leaders. We're thinking beyond ourselves, beyond our own time, thinking about, okay, the players of this game are coming in and out, and so how can I make sure that the next group is better equipped than me? And this goes right into acting sustainably too, right? Does this sound familiar now? Are things connecting here with the concept of an infinite game? Meaning that we're not just thinking about our own time in this organization. Our time in this organization, your time in your term is finite. But you have finite time in an infinite game, right? There are those that come after you. There are those that will continue to work towards a just cause of peace and fulfillment. And so acting sustainably is more important than ever, even right now as well. Got to make sure that as far as these days are going to be uncertain and unsure of like what tomorrow is going to hold, still need to make sure that we're empowering the next generation, empowering your people to continue making ISAC happen, continue working towards peace and fulfillment. And at the end, this is our just cause, the thing that we're always working towards, no matter what, no matter with problems like coronavirus. And so now I'm on slide 26 and I even have a slide dedicated to it. COVID-19, guys, we're in the middle of it. This is the thick of it right here. This is the infinite game, meaning that some of the rules that we're used to that applied before no longer apply. We need to not delete, but cannot hold on to how things have been done in the past, because now it's uncharted territory basically from here, right? This term cannot be compared to one previously. Different is a new normal, essentially. And I'll tell you what, I'm extremely grateful that if this were to ever happen, that a crisis of this magnitude were ever to happen, and that this organization would have to go through something like this, I feel very grateful that it's happening right now. Do you know why? Because I fully believe that this generation of leaders, this generation of ISACers, my team and Rogue for sure, and like everyone in the network, like these are a generation of leaders that can really, really turn things around, that can deal with this, that are well equipped to deal with this. Okay, this is a crisis, right? Again, think about, yes, the term's not going how you wanted so far, and none of us could have predicted this, but think about the experiences, the skills that you'll be able to, like, for example, talk about in interviews after this. I saw someone talk about this in the chat, but it's for real. How you were solution oriented, how are you adaptable, how you just dealt with situations as they came at you and still figured out a way to work towards the organization's cause. So I feel very lucky, because if anyone's going to deal with this and has the ability to still put the organization on a better path and maybe even come out the other side stronger and better, it's us, it's this generation. And so that's why I'm very grateful that this were to ever happen. It's happening now. And you know what? As well, like, this is literally what we're living right now. Embrace risk and choosing courage, because again, we don't know what tomorrow is going to hold, right? And it's time like this, it requires us to be flexible in what we do and how we're making ISAC happen, and how we continue to fight for that just cause, of how we continue to strive for peace and fulfillment. It's not an easy thing. It takes courage to be able to hold your head up and realize that everything's going to be okay. All right, because we have a strong group of leaders that are taking the organization in the right direction. And on this point of no one ever expecting this could happen right in this term, so we talked a lot about the turning point, right, at WNC, the Winter National Conference. A few new members, basically, ISAC United States has been going and it has been having a certain organizational trend over the past few years, where we've been declining in our membership, the amount of exchanges that we're delivering. And this next generation, we're very excited to be the turning point, right, the ones to turn it around. Now, I'm very confident that this is still the turning point, just maybe not in the way that any of us imagined or expected. Maybe not in terms of being the largest summer peak that ICE United States has ever seen. That's not the turning point. The turning point could be how we choose to react in a situation like this, how we choose to go on playing this infinite game, and how we come through it stronger and better off on the other side, and ensure that ISAC United States lives on and is even stronger moving forward from this. So I fully believe this is still a turning point, and the people in ISAC 5-10 years from now are going to look back at this year and be like, yeah, some serious shit went down in that term. But you know what? Good thing that these people were good leaders and were able to come through and embrace the risk and trudge through uncertainty and still figure out a way to come out on top. Okay, so kind of wrapping up here, the truth is we all have finite time in this infinite game. We really do. And what we can control, as I said, right, a choice is whether we choose to play this game with a finite or an infinite mindset. Your time's limited. Will you play with a finite or infinite mindset? Whatever you choose, just got to make it count because the time is limited. So make sure that even now, even these days, if you're having online classes, you're still figuring out a way to keep your people engaged, still attending sessions like this, right? Still going through content like this. This is our way of still trying to keep you engaged with something that might have been missed otherwise. And so I really encourage you to do the same as well. So let's play this infinite game. Let's keep it going. ISAC United States will live on. And that's pretty much it for me from the intro. So just wanted to talk to you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't swear on live stream. That was it for me. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how this is going to work and, just embrace the fact that this is an uncertain time. We have to remember that, this is just a very small setback in the grand scheme of things, right? This is just a very little, blurb, I guess, of us kind of continuing to go on and make ISAC United States even stronger and even better. So thank you so much, everyone. We're starting again in about 35 minutes with the next live stream space, so you can be back here then. I'm out.